Somewhere in the dark waters off the Iraqi coast last night, a man who left his home in India to earn a living died. He was a seafarer, an ordinary man doing an extraordinary job in one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth. We don't yet know his name. We don't know if he had children. We don't know if his family back in India has been told yet. What we do know is this: he is the latest and one of the most personal casualties of a war that is no longer just America's problem, Israel's problem, or Iran's problem. It is now India's problem too. On Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, Day 12 of the U.S.-Iran war, a 228-meter crude oil tanker called the Safesea Vishnu was anchored in the ship-to-ship loading area near Khor Al Zubair port, deep inside Iraqi territorial waters near Basra. This wasn't even technically the front line. This was inside Iraq, inside a country that has been begging the world not to drag it into this war. The tanker had been chartered by an Iraqi company working under Iraq's state organization for marketing of oil, SAMO. It was a Marshall Islands flagged vessel, commercially operated by the U.S.-based Safesea Transport Group. On board, a multinational crew doing what sailors do, working. Then, in the darkness, a small boat approached. Fast, loaded with explosives. A suicide craft, the same kind of tactic Iran has been deploying like a maritime IED. It hit the Safesea Vishnu without warning. The explosion was catastrophic. Fire erupted across the deck. Chaos. Smoke. Water. Screaming. 27 crew members were eventually rescued. But when rescue teams from Iraq's General Company for Ports of Iraq arrived and pulled survivors from the burning water, they also found something else. A body. A foreign crew member. Floating in the Basra waters. That crew member was Indian. Here is what international headlines won't tell you. There are approximately 1.6 million Indian seafarers actively working in the world's merchant navy. India is the single largest supplier of maritime officers globally. Every major oil tanker, cargo ship, and container vessel you can think of, Indians are probably crewing it. When oil moves through the Persian Gulf, when petrochemicals leave Basra, when LPG shipments head toward Mumbai, Indian hands are on those wheels. Indian eyes are on those radars. This is not a coincidence. It is an economic reality born from decades of a maritime tradition in states like Kerala, Goa, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, and Gujarat. Thousands of families in coastal India wake up every morning knowing their father, husband, brother, or son is somewhere in those exact waters right now. And this week, one of those families is waking up to a nightmare. The Safesea Transport Group, the U.S. company operating the vessel, has already called on the government of India to condemn this attack and take urgent action for crew safety. That call matters, because officially, India has been walking a diplomatic tightrope since the U.S.-Iran war began on February 28th, refusing to pick sides, emphasizing dialogue, protecting trade interests with both sides. But now a body has made that tightrope collapse. How does India stay neutral when one of its own is floating in the Basra River? And Safesea Vishnu wasn't even the only ship hit that night near Iraq. Just meters away, another vessel, the Malta-flagged tanker Zefyros, was struck while preparing to load 30,000 tons of liquid naphtha from the Basra Gas Company. Naphtha, the lifeblood of petrochemical plants from Reliance Industries in Jamnagar to chemical factories across the Middle East. Both ships were burning simultaneously. Iraqi port officials scrambled rescue boats in the middle of the night. A total of 38 crew members from both vessels were pulled from the burning water. But as of Thursday morning, rescue teams were still combing the Iraqi coast for others. Missing. That word sits heavier than dead, sometimes, because missing means families are still waiting, still hoping, still refreshing news feeds at 3 in the morning. And here is the geopolitical grenade hidden inside this tragedy. Following these attacks, Iraq, one of the world's top 5 oil exporters, completely shut down all oil port operations. Farhan al-Fartusi, the Director General of Iraq's General Company for Ports, confirmed it to Reuters. Oil ports have stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Think about what that means. Iraq exports roughly 3.3 to 3.5 million barrels of oil per day, mostly through Basra and Khor Al Zubair. In a single night, those taps got turned off. Iraq's oil ministry said it has deep concern. Diplomatic language for. We are watching our entire economy become collateral damage in a war we didn't start and cannot stop. Iraq is not a combatant here. Iraq is a victim of geography. Back to India. As of the time of this recording, the government of India has not issued a formal statement condemning the attack on Safesea Vishnu. The Ministry of External Affairs has been silent. This silence is understandable from a strategic lens. India imports significant oil from Iraq, has trade relationships with Iran, and maintains defense ties with the United States. Any statement is a political minefield. But silence has a human cost. Every hour that New Delhi doesn't name the victim, doesn't call for accountability, doesn't demand safe passage for Indian seafarers, is an hour where grieving families in some coastal village don't know if their government even cares. The shipping company has spoken. Maritime industry bodies have spoken. The world has spoken about the geopolitics. Someone needs to speak for him. His name hasn't been released yet. Maybe it will be by the time you watch this. Maybe his family has already been informed. Maybe right now, in some small house near the sea, someone is crying and someone else is holding them, and neither of them knows how to say the word war anymore without it tasting like loss. The Safesea Vishnu burned on the waters of Basra. Iraq's oil ports went dark. The Strait of Hormuz is a graveyard for ships. And somewhere in the middle of all this geopolitical chess, one Indian man paid the ultimate price for simply going to work. We will update you as his name is confirmed. Until then, remember him. Because this war has a face now. And it looks like one of ours.